The afternoon training session at the small martial arts gym was almost over. Sunlight streamed through the large front windows as students practiced punches, kicks, and footwork under the watchful eyes of their instructors. The atmosphere was peaceful, filled with the sounds of focused breathing and the rhythmic impact of training pads. At the center of the room, Bruce Lee calmly demonstrated a simple movement to his students. "Speed is important," he explained, "but understanding timing is even more important." The students listened carefully, repeating the technique with determination. Suddenly, the gym's front door slammed open with such force that everyone stopped moving. A large man wearing a leather jacket stepped inside, followed by several companions. Tattoos covered his arms, and his confident smile immediately made it clear he wasn't there to train. The room fell silent as he looked around, knocking a heavy punching bag aside with one hand. "So this is Bruce Lee's famous gym," he said with a mocking laugh. "I expected something more impressive." The students exchanged nervous glances but remained where they were. Bruce slowly turned toward the newcomers without showing the slightest sign of fear or anger. His expression stayed calm as he walked toward the front of the gym. "Welcome," Bruce said politely. "If you're here to learn, you're welcome to stay. If you're here to cause trouble, I'd rather you leave peacefully." The gangster laughed loudly while his companions joined in. "Peacefully?" he replied. "People in this city know my name because I don't leave peacefully." He stepped closer until he stood only a few feet from Bruce. Towering over him, he folded his arms and smiled confidently. "I've heard people say you're the greatest martial artist alive. Today I want to find out if those stories are true." Around the gym, students watched anxiously. Some wanted to step forward, but Bruce gently raised his hand, signaling them to remain where they were. The gangster suddenly pushed over a training dummy, sending it crashing onto the floor. "Come on," he shouted. "Show everyone why they call you a legend." Bruce looked briefly at the damaged equipment before returning his attention to the man. "Strength isn't measured by breaking things," he said quietly. "It's measured by controlling yourself." The gangster smirked. "Nice speech," he answered. "Let's see if it works in a real fight." Without warning, he threw a powerful punch toward Bruce's head. Gasps echoed through the gym. At the very last moment, Bruce moved only a few inches, allowing the punch to pass harmlessly before gently redirecting the attacker's arm. The gangster stumbled forward, unable to stop his own momentum. Before he could regain his balance, Bruce stepped back, giving him space instead of attacking. The students watched in amazement. Bruce hadn't struck him. He had simply avoided the attack with perfect timing. Embarrassed by the failed punch, the gangster became furious. He charged forward again, throwing wild combinations while his companions shouted encouragement from behind. Bruce remained composed, moving smoothly around the gym floor with incredible precision. Every punch missed by inches. Every kick struck only empty air. The gangster grew more frustrated with every failed attack, wasting energy while Bruce barely seemed to move at all. Finally, Bruce saw an opening. With a quick, controlled movement, he delivered a precise counter that stopped the gangster's advance without causing unnecessary harm. The room fell silent. Even the gangster's companions looked surprised. They had expected Bruce to fight with anger, but instead they had witnessed discipline, control, and confidence. Breathing heavily, the gangster slowly lowered his fists. For the first time, he realized Bruce had spent the entire encounter trying to avoid violence rather than win a fight. Bruce extended a hand and calmly said, "A true martial artist doesn't fight to prove he's stronger. He fights only when there's no other choice, and even then, his goal is to end the conflict, not create more of it." The gangster looked at Bruce for several seconds before accepting the handshake. Without another word, he signaled for his companions to leave. As the gym doors closed behind them, the students gathered around Bruce. One asked Sifu, "How did you stay so calm?" Bruce smiled gently and replied, "When your mind is calm, your body follows. Fear and anger make people predictable. Discipline gives you choices." The students nodded, understanding that the greatest lesson they had learned that day wasn't about punches or kicks, it was about character. They returned to training with renewed determination, while Bruce quietly picked up the fallen training dummy and continued the class as though nothing extraordinary had happened.